tanks, but a lot of games where there's progression, uh, if it starts feeling like a grind, unless there's some reason for you to power through it, just don't. I mean, when I grind my tanks, it's basically I just do dailies. You know, I just do some dailies and then I call it a day. I'm like, all right, that's fine. Whenever I'm done, I'm done. Okay, so we'll start out with this Leo PTA Erlenberg. Ooh, Erlenberg Assault. I'm not a big fan of a lot of the assault maps, but we'll see. You've got a slightly faster comp than them, particularly up top, which is usually good on Erlenberg. Erlenberg is really more of an open map. You spawned on the east side, so you can actually play a number of different areas. I wouldn't sometimes in mediums I'll go through the center, but that's usually only in like the Russian medium, something with a little bit of turret armor, because there's a lot of places you can hold down. But you can play either outside lane. If I spawn on this side, I typically like going to the 9-line lane, but it's difficult to front in a PTA on this side, even though you're top tier. But neither team really has very good scouts. They have a T-54 as their best scout, really. So we'll see. And it looks like everybody who spawned over here is going that way, and everybody who spawned over here is splitting up. So that means you're going to have a lot of duders over here, not a lot of duders over here. See how both of your other 9s are going this way, though? So that's something that you have to keep an eye on, because you don't want to lose those guys for nothing. And then remember, it's the same thing. You have the same problem on your team. There's not a whole lot of spotting, not a whole lot of eyes on your team. And you want to be careful knocking down trees going into this position, because this is a very popular blind shot position. They have an IS-3 moving down through the middle there. I would worry more about that. See how this VK is coming across. Watch to see if people shoot him, because then you'll know how many people they have right there. But see how, okay, there's one guy that the VK lit. He's out of your range. I don't think that they sent that much this way, given what we've seen. But I guess we'll find out. STA is pushing over. 5100 is lit, so that's a danger to you. You always, even if you're not lit, if the guy next to you is lit, particularly when there's artillery involved, it's something to keep an eye on. Your guys are playing a little bit too passive back here. You have to kind of wait for the STI. Don't worry about the T-54 unless he moves, right? Because the T-54 is not in a super consequential position. But like, given where that STI went through, it looked like he could have had a shot as he went through that window. You know that the IS-3 is going to be back over here someplace now as well. Your 2 guys on this side pushed up, which is not that good when you're on the weak side like that. Even if you're in top tier tanks, especially if you're in fast top tier tanks, you don't want to push up. If you're these guys, you actually just want to vacate, come back, right? Because there's no real super reason for you to be out there.
It's a trap!
He's not looking at you, but you're not worried about the STI nearly as much as you're worried about artillery. And we should just, from that angle, you might as well switch to heat. And you can fire through the trees, but I actually think that your previous position was better. And again, like, if you switch to heat, you can fire through the shoulder. His right shoulder is square to you.
It's a trap!
Because your team, you have to remember that he's a tier 9 tank. Your team is mostly tier 8s. So they're going to struggle to pen that STI. You have the best ability to kill him. So a lot of times when you're in a high tier tank, one of the few high tier tanks in the game, you always want to be able to counter their high tier tanks as soon as possible, just because it gives your guys an advantage.
It's a trap!
Yep, and now, right, these guys can be mostly bullied where they're at. You're getting a lot of mileage out of this position, but you're going to need to do something eventually. Your Type 61 fell back, but your Lorraine got himself killed. You're falling back in positions when you don't need to. These guys are beyond the ability to detect you. So you keep like rolling back for no apparent reason. So you always want to be in a situation where if somebody else is spotting for you, as soon as you're reloaded, you should be firing. There shouldn't be, okay, now I push forward and aim, and then now I can fire. And like right there, all you had to do is just push back over there that way a little bit, and you could have gotten a better shot on this IS-3. Whereas now you're loaded, but now, okay, now I gotta go forward and get shots. It's too much waste of time for nothing. Right, and so you lost your eyes. And then this is a situation where these guys are kind of low health. You can probably push up through the 3 line and finish them off. You've still got plenty of time. This other side has died now. The Type 61 is moving across. You still have artillery. You're shrinking down map control though. And what you want to do is you want to be able to clear this out before these guys get to this midline. Because once they get to this midline, pretty much anything you do on that side is going to be bad. Like to this point, you've driven over to this G1 area and you've been here like this entire time. Okay, T-32 is starting to push a little bit, I think. Oh no, he just went to the rock. Yeah, you're not the one that lit him. That's fine. He'll back up. Probably. No, to the left of the rock, not the right. Because he's not going to pull forward if he's getting shot. He's going to pull back. See how he pulled back right there? Like you can shoot around that. I don't know where exactly is that. Let's try to attack. I'll try to find the. These guys are coming up. Good job. And then now go all the way around this backside, right? So you're still worried. These guys have had plenty of time. They're going to come back up this way. You have your IS-3 and your Type on this side of the guy. So if you come over here, you'll get shots on this guy. Because either these guys will push him back, or he'll be running to this side. You're still safer going across over there. You don't want to be stranded, or not stranded. You don't want to be stuck on the same guy as these, same side as these other guys. Okay, that's fine. No, if you're not going to go, don't. That's fine. Just go ahead. What you want to do is actually go back, turn around. You don't want to try to take these guys on frontally. There's no reason to. You guys make them drive across and come over the hill to get to where you're at. Get some free damage on the way in. But see this IS-6? This IS-6 is a bigger problem for your team than this T-28. The T-28, it's going to take him like another 30 seconds to a minute just to get into a position where he can bother anybody.
It's a trap!
And still gotta burn some health here.
It's a trap!
So luckily that IS-6 went down. You're gonna have to push this guy. You don't want to push him directly though, you want to go all the way out and then come down over there and push him. Okay, if he's going behind the house, you have a minute and a half. You need to push him. Oh, good. Artillery's here. Now that makes it easy. I'm not exactly sure how you lose this. I mean, I guess you can't get to the super Persian in time. Like, you're burning, like, reloads. Like, it's killing me. You're just killing me.
It's a trap!
It's, you wait till you're reloaded and then you look to get a shot. It's just... yeah. 55 seconds, theoretically you could still do that, because see how he's pushing north? That's actually to your advantage. Yeah. They're probably telling him, no, just hide, just hide. You should not be shooting heat right now. Okay, good. Alright, so I'm going to stop it here so that it doesn't get grayed out. So, yeah, you should have won this game. And the sad thing is that you cost yourself this game. And a large part of that is, so you went over here, which is fine, because you do get really good shots here. And you milked your team for what it was worth, which is okay in that specific situation. But there was a lot of time where you could have put out multiple shots over here, like when that Tiger 2 moved forward. I think it was both of the Tiger 2s ended up moving forward at separate times. Lighting over here, you're like dropping back down. You keep dropping back down, and you're not lit, you're dropping back down. And there's these situations where you're loaded, but you're not even in a position to aim, you're not in a position to fire. You've got plenty of health, you've got plenty of ammo. You're not going to run out of shit. So if you've got cycles where you're wasting, where it's just tick, 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 and you're not doing anything, those things add up. And in particular, when you're playing Assault, those things really add up, because you're always on a limited timer. It's a lot like what happened with the 1390 on Sand River, that we reviewed a few games ago. It's, if you did everything with just a teensy slight bit more urgency, you would have won this game. The only flaw in terms of the aggressiveness, other than you're wasting too many shooting cycles, is you should have pushed up against these weak 8s a little bit earlier. Your guys were playing a little bit passive for a lot of the game as well. That IS-3, the Type 61 wasn't. He had to come back from this other side, and he was actually smart enough to fall back because they had an advantage there. He probably shouldn't have bled as much health there, because that wasn't a really good trade for him, but he should have come back earlier, and then maybe you guys could have been able to clear this side a little bit earlier. Okay. So if you look at the stats, yeah, you didn't get a whole lot out of your team. There's not much else to be said about that. And your Lorraine that went up there on the other side, your Type 61 actually ended up doing a lot of damage, but I'm guessing that a lot of that damage was actually when he came back around to the west side. A lot of that wasn't done on the east, and so that's certainly a problem, a limitation of that. But so you're pretty efficient with your shots, which is good. I felt like you could have helped your team with the STI a little bit more by switching to heat at the angle that STI was facing you. His shoulder was completely 100% square to you, and you could have gone through that. You penned his lower glacius with APCR, but to me that feels like a more sketchy shot from that distance and that angle. But you could have done the same thing in essence with heat. and that might have saved your team a little bit of health as well. You always have to remember that when the STI is a top tier tank in the game, and you're matched up against him, essentially, your team is going to struggle to damage this guy. Look, this guy took 23 freaking shots, 17 non-penetrations, 6k damage blocked by armor, right? And you potentially could have negated a lot of that by focusing yourself on him a little bit earlier, and that would have helped out your team a lot. Because, I mean, he was one of the first people to die, and he got top experience on their team. So that probably has to be a little bit more of a focus for you in those types of games, I think. Yeah, I think your Type 61 was actually a little bit too aggressive there at the end. Like, I get the fact that you're on the timer, and that kind of sucks. But yeah, it's the the first thing that the Super Pershing spotted was the Type 61, and so in general, pubs will fixate on whatever it is that they see first. That's just how it works. And I mean, it's not like look. It's not like this Super Pershing was a world beater. He shouldn't have even been driving towards you guys at all. If he just drove the other direction or stayed behind the hill, like, there would have been no chance for you guys to win. But that's how puppies play. But overall, nice shooting. I think just small decisions, not even just the small decisions, but just not wasting so much time when you're loaded and have shots, I think would have won you the game. But very good game. I mean, you can't complain about 9k damage in a tier 9 game. GG. Yeah, most of the games we pick are losses, so almost by definition, if we're watching it, they're probably going to lose. And it's not like I'm being mean to him. It's like, when we critique, even if you're a good player, I mean, that guy was a purple player. Like, I can watch any of my own replays, and I see the same things where I'm just like, oh, I wasted 3 seconds there when I could have been doing something. Like, it's very easy to look back at replays, and this is one of the things that I find interesting, even about really good players, is that if you look back through your games, you see a lot of stuff where you're just like, I'm not exactly sure what I was thinking there, because I'm like sitting there doing nothing when there's a very clear objective that's easily obtainable in front of me, and that happens, and it just this is something that gets talked about a lot, but the being purple or unicum or however you want to say, being a good player isn't about, I mean, ideally it's about nailing every opportunity and being absolutely perfect on the spot, but really a lot of it is just being consistent enough that you take advantage of more of those moments than other people do. Hey, Junkers. Okay, SU 122.54 on it's not Erlenberg, Ruinberg. Alright, platoon of tank destroyers. Not always the best thing, but I think I'm guessing you're probably doing the mission, so you're doing that 20% thing, or whatever percentage of damage. I forget what the number is. I guess it probably depends on what tier you're doing. Looks like a pretty even matchup. I would actually, I would still go this way. I don't, like, if you had a slightly more trolley armor tank destroyer, you could play the city, but the 122-54 is not that. It does have a reasonable amount of speed. You can get out to this field and you can actually do some reasonable damage. This is not a super good map for tank destroyers, or for non-turreted tank destroyers in general. But a lot of it is, like, what I would do is I would start heading out here and then you watch and see what your team is doing. Like, see how it looks like you're going to do a 6-line spot. Like the Bulldog, okay, now it looks like both of them are doing the 6-line spot. Well, but you'll see if one of them splits off this way. But see how they're going the same way. I hate when light tanks go the same way. But at least you'll have an idea of what goes out there. Your medium tanks are taking this K-line, which is not really what you should do. I don't actually even, like, sometimes I'll start back here in a tank destroyer, but that's, see how you're not pushing out here? At this point, I just say abort. Like, there's no... It's going to be really difficult, depending on what they send out here. If they send just even half of the force that they're supposed to out here, it's going to be a difficult push. I mean, at least you guys are together, so you've got that going for you, but... This is a difficult place to play when if you drive all the way up here in a non-turreted tank destroyer without any turreted support. Looks like the 704 is out in the open though. This IS-6 push across back, but you know you have at least 1-9 there, 1-9 there, and those are just the tanks that were spotted from the 6-line, right? You didn't do but neither of those light tanks did the 8-line loop, so you don't know what else is back there. Your buddy is a little bit too far back. If you spot anything, he's not really going to be able to help that much. Looks like they have a lot in the town, so that's good for you. He's going to be too low. You can push forward. Like, see how that JP is moving in there? You can push forward and then get into this area right here, and then you can shoot down at him, but he can also shoot back.
It's a trap!
Job, and then I would look to fire through that lane right there. You have to be careful because you're just lit, and artillery can actually counter through there. So you have some pressure on this side, so going to the side that you're on is good. You can shoot the Panther, but just be a little bit careful. You are exposed to fire from back there. The 5120 could shoot you now. And then, so, see how the 5120, he's occupied on the other side. The 704 is kind of looking your way, I think. Maybe. Where'd he go?
It's a trap!
No, he's looking the other way. Okay, that's fine. Lol. So, this is what I don't like. I don't like when everybody goes along the same direction, because that allows the 5120 to get away when he really shouldn't. Get away being relative. Well, look out. Remember, you were lit not that long ago. Most likely their artillery is over on that A line someplace. Even if he's back in like this B1 area, he can hit you where you're at. You've lost town pretty badly, which hurts. So it's not all is lost. It'll take them a little bit to get over to this side. So you can go and set up a defense. And usually what I'll try to do is we'll try to get one spotter in here, and then you'll have another guy either back here or over here. Mouse keeps jumping, or over here to shoot. And you do have good tanks for that, right? And so they've lost most of their 9s, well, the 2 of their 9s that were in the field. So that's good. So a lot of the tanks that you're gonna be facing, you can bully. Stop. You can shoot that guy. You can shoot him. There's a little bit of ridge there, but I'm fairly certain you can shoot him. Yeah.
It's a trap!
Like if you stopped back where you were at, it was a slightly higher elevation, and you could have shot down on him. You can shoot him right there. Yeah, still gotta aim. See, now what you don't want to do is shoot at that, like a hold down to T-32. You need to aim a little bit higher. You want to aim basically at the base of that.
It's a trap!
You're like pushing a little bit too far forward to the point where you're gonna start exposing yourself to too many guns. Like you had better shots in the same lights, because from further back. And unfortunately, it's this T-29 is the least of your problems, because he's the only guy that's not on the cap, and he's not very good. And he might even have the 76, which means that he's going to struggle to pin you frontally anyways. You need resets, man. Okay. And then, yeah, I would go around the right side of this pillar. The Tiger P is not looking at you, but he was also just reset. The T-32 just got reset. Reset the IS-3. IS-3. Good job.
It's a trap!
And then take your time. Back up, back up, back up. Don't get shot by the IS-3. You want to be in a position, right? Because the T-32 just shot you, so he's not going to reload in time. The IS-3 is not looking at you right now. No, he's sort of looking at you. Shoot his turret. Oh, that works. And then you look and see how much health see how your friend has more health, so you put him in front and then you snipe behind him. You bled a little bit too much health there, which is not good. You don't want to try to trade frontally with this tortoise. Not you. Your buddy can. And then you want to sit in the back. No, further back. You do not want to be up with this guy because he's just going to focus you. He's got a faster gun. See how he's just going to keep pushing forward. And then as soon as he turns that corner, guess who's gonna get shot? Well, I guess now now either one of you is gonna get shot.
It's a trap!
The STA is moving to flank. So in that particular, right, they've got slow rollers. You've got more speed. You've got tanks moving to flank them. Just wait and let them get into position, and then you can present yourself. There's no need for you to play that. And then now, right, there's no flank on this guy. This STA's got to go back around to the other side. Which, to the STA's credit, he's doing, right? This is the right thing to do. And so that other STA needs to just play it pretty conservatively. He's getting shot by this Pershing who's over here. Oh man, Pershing's still full health too. Yeah, and this STA should just run. I think that's probably the right move. Watching from artillery's position is never going to be edifying. You always want to watch from an actual tank's position. Watching from a dead tank's position, also not very edifying. But yeah, if you guys had just waited 15 seconds before trying to push up that 6th line, you would have had, your team would have had a flank on, and that would have helped you out immensely in dealing with those guys. And that was probably the decision that you could point to as being the difference in the game, because you would have been able to wreck that tortoise with flank support. It's just too slow of a tank to not. Anyhow, so if we look at the stats. Yeah, and you could have reset the cap from further back from where you were at, because you weren't the one lighting them. So just like you could have sat back initially where I told you to stop to shoot at the T-32 or the IS-3. I forget which one was the first that was lit on the cap, but you could have stopped back there and been able to shoot and been a lot safer and potentially not lit. But that's okay. I mean, you actually handled that cap thing okay. I mean, you came out of it okay. You were still alive, but then you have to realize that you have to play second line to your platoon mate, and your platoon mate has to go and basically be the front man. But overall, wait, I think this is you, right? Where's my? Yeah, I mean, you guys both did pretty well, but yeah, just small things. Just watch what your teammates are doing, and be sure that either you're helping them or you're utilizing the help that they're trying to give to you. Alright, so next one is Tiger 2 on Abbey. Okay, top tier tank, you're a little bit heavier than them. They've got an ISU and a Roomba, which is actually kind of works to your advantage because at least one of them will sit back on either in the base side or on this side. So I would probably play 2-line here. They've got more speed, so they can get more position to you. But basically what I'll do is I'll start driving over towards the west side. And then we'll see, usually you'll like one of your light tanks will go and look up here. So you'll have an idea of what they send to the middle. Because what they have in the middle impacts what you do on this 2-line. Because if they control the middle, for example, you don't want to stop in certain gaps here on this 2-line. Because otherwise you can get shot from this side. And then, so see how your light tanks are going up there, that's fine. So it doesn't look like they counter pushed their lights through there, although they got a 271, but it's not really that big of a deal if they only put one in there. So that means, right, when you only see one there, that and you know that they've got 5 light tanks, that means that their other light tanks got to be someplace else. Wow, look at that 271 go. I was not expecting him to die at all there. I was expecting him to be able to kill all 4 of those guys, but I guess that shows how little I can predict about the game. So you always want to look and see what's happening. So you see how that ISU is back there. That's good for you. They're going to win the Abbey at some point because these guys just aren't going to be able to control an IS-3, most likely. See where this T-44 is? He's going to get shots on this IS-3. You want to push up here as quickly as possible. He hasn't been spotted anything on this side, so you know that they're not pushing that 2-line. It looks like they've committed a large part of their resources, particularly a lot of their weight, right? The IS-3, Tiger 2 is in the Abbey. The ISU's behind them. So all of that weight subtracts from what can possibly be in front of you on this side. So the further north you go, the better shots you'll get on these guys. Sitting where you're at, you're not going to really get that great of shots. And you don't want to just camp here waiting for them to drive back and forth across this opening, right? Because you left this line open, so it's only a matter of time. You can't be really passive over here. See, these guys right here are not good. This IS-6 is doing the right thing by pushing. These guys, right? So you can't sit here and wait for shots that may or may not ever come. And any IS-3 that drives up here is probably not a very good player, so that's not like not be the focus of your a large portion of your time anyways. I mean, if he's there and you can shoot him, that's fine. It's like you could have already, like these guys, all these guys right here could have pushed this T-34. And so you're sitting here, right, not really doing a whole lot. You've gotten one shot in an IS-3 this entire time. And don't forget, this side still completely open.
It's a trap!
So you've lost your base. You have draw on that side, but you're not in a position to actually do it. If you go to the next one, you can. You actually need to start going back because they've pushed through. And again, it's a situation where you're not really getting that good of shots anyways from where you're at. So go ahead and go back. It's important because you're going to start getting swarmed on that south. Whereas these guys that they've locked into the middle of the Abbey, they're still going to be there. And then you can play it either way. I would probably play the top to start because you never know. Don't worry about the LTTB. The LTTB is not a problem. The only person that he can kill is really the person that he's going to be the greatest nuisance to is the artillery.
It's a trap!
Okay, so you've committed to the bottom. See how this Roomba is crossing over here? Your artillery is up in the mountains, which is fine. It'll take those guys a little bit to get up to him. But you would be better equipped to shoot those guys from the top. Again, this LTTB is inconsequential because he's not really that important. And then be careful going around here. See how you can see those guys? That means they can see you. Okay, that's a candidate for auto-aim right there. Okay, that's fine. Take your time. There you go. Okay. Turn around. There's a Roomba that can shoot you in the rear right now. Like, he can literally just shoot you in the butt. And so you got to be aware of the alleys that you're in. Right, they're putting on cap pressure. So I'm not sure why you're going back this way exactly. Again, you still would get better shots from up here, but you should have gone up here initially in order to try to shoot these guys. They got one on cap. The problem with having one on cap, for them having one on cap, is that it's difficult usually for you to light them, but I guess he got lit by your arty, which is fantastic. Your artillery is doing an excellent job of spotting for you. Those are words that you never really want to ever hear uttered. And then come up over on this right side a little bit so you're not detected. Shoot side turret. You didn't need to shoot HE there. So whenever, you know, people always go, oh, well, you should carry some HE to reset. All you need to do is hit them in the track to reset them. So you don't want to load HE unless it's like you've got a turret to shoot at. Wow, I'm surprised that did damage. He turned his drive wheel towards it, and I'm guessing that it deflected into the to the actual hull. You want to move up to this corner right here, and then that way you can fire through that way. Because you want to get to a point where you can start shooting at him before he pushes too far forward. Because like once he pushes more towards this rock, if that's what he chooses to do, then it's going to make things more difficult for you. This KV-4 is not going to be able to spot anything because he's probably got a horrible crew.
It's a trap!
You're really not worried about the type, and then you can just, again, reset that guy. You don't want us to be sitting out here, though. So what you really want to do... what you really want to do is still get back there, right? Because that way you can be safe from the super pershing. You can deal with the type without worrying about getting hit by artillery. And then see how you have your 112 KV-4 pushing up through there? You still can get hit by artillery, so pay attention. Get shots on the super pershing. Good job. No, there's keep shooting the super pershing. The super pershing! He's gonna... It's a time limited opportunity. He's going away. Okay, he's dead. I thought he was gonna be able to back down. Alright, that's fine. You should push this Type 62. Even though you have low health, you don't want to allow him to control the engagement. And where you're at, you can get hit by artillery.
It's a trap! It's a trap!
You're like just making it easy. Your KV-4 is pushing over there.
It's a trap!
Now pull back. Yeah, pull back and get behind this rock, because that will be the safest thing for you to do. I am just absolutely shocked that you did not get artillery before then. You can keep pulling back. Artillery is fired, so pull back and you can shoot that Type 58. You can't shoot him from... Ah! You should be able to get 2 shots here. Pull back. Yeah, use. And then I would just drive down this line, 2 line over here, start heading this way. These guys should be able to wipe off the IS-3. You need to start moving though. Okay, they took him down. He splashed the KV-4, and then pretty much you guys just need to get on cap. There's nothing that the M44 is going to be able to do about it. We'll speed it up a little bit here. Or, you know, you should definitely push forward. Keep going. There's no reason for you to stop. Even if he gets on your cap, if you have 2 on cap, there's nothing that he can do. Right, but the point is that if they get on cap, there's no need for you to defend. So you'd actually rather push. So see how they're chasing? Just go and get on some sort of intercept then. Like, you're playing far too campy for 1 artillery still left. Yes, he can shotgun you, but there's no reason for you to be playing in the position that you are. Just push. Because you're giving him an opportunity to not lose, basically. And then now at this point, right, see how your guys are going back? Just go get on cap yourself. No, because look at where your teams are. You know that he's not there. If anything, he came down here. So just go and get on cap, because you've got 4 guys. He's got 1 artillery. I mean, you sort of castigate them for wasting time, but you also wasted time there, where you could have just personally got on cap without any of their help whatsoever, and you would have won. Now you need to find that guy. And I'm guessing that he might actually even be down there. I guess we'll find out. Like in that K9-ish area. Lol, Tiger 1's like, C1 hole. It's like, you guys saw him over here. I mean, it's not rocket science. Yeah, I mean, you're yelling at your teammate, but you should really be yelling at yourself. From your position that you had right there, all you had to do was do. You had 5 minutes. 5 minutes left in the game. All you had to do was just drive and then you just sit there for 100 seconds and win the game. Like, there was no reason for you to try to defend that, to defend the cap, because yeah, this guy's a bot, yes, but he can't outcap you. You've got 4 tanks. It's just 1 artillery. Just go and deal with it. Okay, and it's unfortunate. Yeah, these guys should have gotten on the cap and they didn't. But again, my point is not that they shouldn't have gone, that what they did is wrong, because what they did was wrong, but what you did was just as bad, because you could have done it, and you probably should have done it. And to them, that's a good game, but to you, this is just a bad loss. Yeah, overall, the only thing that I really didn't like was your positioning in that sort of mid game. Like, going to the west early is fine. You saw that they sent a lot to the middle, and then I think you kind of wasted a little bit too much time waiting to get shots in the middle. And then I didn't really care for your approach on the way to the cap. Like, I didn't feel like you should have just let that LTTB kill the bot, and deal with those guys up top. Like, you could have gotten the Roomba down when your AMX was still spotting those guys. You could have gotten shot a lot of those guys from through those bushes and basically been camoed the whole time. I felt like if you hugged the wall a little bit more, you could have dealt with the super pushing a little bit better, and you wouldn't have lost a lot of that health when the Type 62 came up behind you, because you would have been able to just turn around without the super pushing nailing you in the rear. Otherwise, and the mistake of not just going and driving on cap yourself was an issue. But otherwise, you did pretty well. Nice try, GG. Just, you say that you shouldn't trust your teammates, and to an extent that's true, but you can't blame everything on them, because you were just as much to blame, is all I'm getting at. Alright, and the last one is Lowe, or however it's pronounced, on Ensk. I'm still gonna call it the Lowe, so screw you guys. Yeah, and don't get me wrong. I mean, they should have won the game for you, but you spent a lot of time there doing nothing. So, like, when you look back at those losses, yeah, they cost you the game, but you could have won yourself the game. Is all that I'm getting at. And I think that a lot of times people miss that. They go, oh, well, look, I did 4K damage. I reset the cap like a boss, and we lost, but it's not my fault, right? But I don't think that you can take that attitude. I think you have to look at that and been like, yeah, I did all that, but I also still could have won if I had done X, Y, Z, and I felt like you could have in that particular case. Alrighty, roughly similar comps. You gotta. It's a lot like Sir Pounce. You have to look out for those inanimate objects. Those are the ones that'll get you. So yeah, you can play through the middle. I don't really like playing the Lowe through the middle. It's a better sniper, so I actually kind of like playing it on the 6th line, especially when there's no artillery, because there's not a whole lot to bother you. You've got your 112 up here, so you should push up to an area where you can support. So you have this Panther 88 is going around the side. You can go around that side and help. They're sending a Hellcat down there, but that's pretty inconsequential. There's no artillery, so don't worry about him. This IS-6 is kind of pushing your Panther 88, and so you want to be able to make it so that if he pushes around the corner against that guy, you'll have shots. You'll have shots on this T-29 on the left. If you go out to the left, see, he's cresting. He's coming around. He's coming around. He's coming around. You're not going to have any shots to this right. It's very hard. There's a very narrow window that you can shoot through right there, but I don't recommend doing it from this side. It's just not that good. You'll still have shots in this T-29. There's another Object 416 that's curling around to your left as well. He just shot you in the side. It's fine. I would still deal with the T-29. Your Panther 88 is over there, but they're not pushing around on them, so that's fine. Tiger 1's coming around to that side. They've got a lot of their tanks here. But you should be able to take this T-29 out without losing a lot of health. It's fine. Excellent job. I mean, I would, like, whenever I'm in a position like where you're at, I always kind of watch this side. Because, like, see how that T-69 is coming down? You'll have a shot on the T-69. And I'd rather have a shot at a small target, a target that I'll have a small window at, I'd rather shoot the T69 right there than the T29, because I know that T29 is not really going anywhere. That I'll always have that T29 shot, but I'm not always going to have that shot on the T69. So you're winning in the field, but you need to be pretty conservative here. Be careful how you back up here. You're going to get shot by this guy. You can pen him. So that was good. I would T69, 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 T69. Yeah. Yeah, you would have been fine there if you angled your hull a little bit more to the left. He's coming back. Like I feel like you could have had like 3 shots of damage on that T69 instead of, I mean, 4 shots in total, but that one that you did take bounced. He's gonna shoot your buddy. That's fine. You're gonna lose that Tiger no matter what, so it's not really that important. But you should probably try to block him if the IS-6 comes, because the T69 is out. IS is pushing. He's gonna be back before you can do anything. So back off and start backing out this way, because you're losing more and more support off this side. And then pretty soon these guys are going to be able to push around behind you, which is not what you want. Push forward a little bit more. There you go. No. Give him a slightly steeper angle. There you go. The last, like where you ended up, that's where you should have been going. Don't back up into that. That shot you probably didn't need to take. All you needed to do is rotate your entire tank, because you know the T69's on clip. That was good. Oh no! There you go. Work it. Work that angle. Work that low side armor. that was a good job. All right, so then yeah, it's tough. Let's see, your JT88 has how much health? No, he's 1 shot. That's not good. And their health, the IS has some health, but the other guys are 1 shot. So you want to try to take out this SU if you can for free. So you have to take a little bit of a risk here to try to take out a tank before these guys get back. Is the way that I look at it. Oh, well, that's good. JP, go to this window right here. No, okay, never mind. I thought you could get a shot through there. Maybe I'm misthinking it. Oh no, he's coming through. No, you should have stayed in that window. Like, if you stayed in that window, he was going to crawl around through there. Ooh. This is actually good. Shoot him through the window. You've got a better mantlet than he does. You don't want to really be proxied by this guy. That's kind of a bad situation for you. So you want to let him go. You want to move as far out this way where he doesn't proxy you, ideally. Because right now they could come around the backside of your JT88. See where their JP is going? See how he's headed out there? Don't back up too far, otherwise the IS is going to get shots on you on the side turret. Or front turret. And then this all works. Oh man, your JT88 was able to take care of him. Yeah, you always want to look and see what your teammates are doing. But whenever you're proxy spotted like that, you need to be careful on those windows. Like, you can bounce a lot of shells from that IS potentially, because the Lowe is actually somewhat difficult to pen frontally. But if he does hit you in the cheek, then he'll be able to pen it. And I'm guessing these guys are going to stare at each other for a while. Oh, was that HE? Oh, yeah. Well, good job by the IS. I wouldn't have expected it. Maybe he was just firing HE the whole game. Lol. Yeah, you just want to avoid being proxy spotted over there. Like, I thought you did a pretty good job over on the west side, the 2 line. You probably took 1 or 2 shots from that T69 that you didn't need to. You could have angled that out a little bit better, especially when they're slinging heat through at side armor. That's an advantage to you. I felt like he could have shot that T-69 a couple of times before, and that might have prevented him from being so aggressive, because he did do a lot of damage to your team when he did stick around over there. And like I felt like you could have shot him as he moved south on the 6th line the first time, and then he moved back, and then there was another time where he moved across the T-29, and then he went back. But yeah, just little things. I'm not sure that necessarily would have done it. But yeah, in the end, try not to be proxy spotted by that IS, because that basically frees up their other guys to do whatever they want. So like if he moves to the west, you want to move to the east and see if he'll drop spot, and then you can figure out where they're coming from, because that JT had that lane covered, so it's just a matter of figuring out where the other guy was, because you didn't want that JP, for example, to come around and just suddenly pop up on this east side over here. Alright, and so if we look at stats, let's see, oops, apparently I forgot to sort it. So yeah, your JT did okay. The 112 that was up there did okay. The Tiger 1 that was up there did okay. Your field guys didn't do a whole lot, but I usually don't expect too much from the field. I don't really feel like the field is usually that strong of a play. Yeah, their T-69 did 3.5k damage, and that really hurt you. Look at that damaged block by Lowe armor. So strong. GG, nice try.